Hello and welcome to the Federal podcast on India-Australia Test Series for the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. I am Aprameya. The third test began in Indore today with 14 wickets falling on day one. India, after opting to bat first, was bowled out for 109. In reply, Australia ended the day at 156 for 4, taking a 47-run lead, which is significant considering the spin-friendly conditions at the Holkar Cricket Stadium. To review the day's play, we have senior cricket writer R. Kaushik joining us from the stadium. Thanks, Kaushik, for talking to the Federal.
Hi, Apu. Entirely my pleasure.
Kaushik, first off, how do you sum up the day? 14 wickets, 13 falling to spin, and one was run out. And Australia, for a change, dominated today's play.
Yeah, one of the first things that occurred to some of us when we are talking about it is that it is probably a good toss to lose. Because if you look at how the day's play panned out, then the most challenging period of batting was in the first session.
Right.
And this is not to say that the pitch eased out a lot afterwards, but it did not have the same terror that it held in the first 2 hours when India batted. So from that perspective, probably it was not the worst thing that Steve Smith called wrong. Having said that, I think there was a distinct lack of application from India's batsmen. And as much as lack of application, we also need to look at the skill factor, the ability to make decisions, smart decisions. And if you look at some of the dismissals when India played, it was as if nobody had watched what had happened before them. For instance, you take Chiteshwar Pujara getting out to Nathan Lyon's first ball that he faced from Nathan Lyon in the match. And agreed it was a wide ball, it was a short ball, but you had just seen your captain get stumped to a ball that turned really big. So you know that this is not the regulation kind of pitch. You need to be careful, you need to give yourself time. And the kind of shots that he played out the back foot when the ball was stopping and coming, Pujara, Shreyas Iyer, Ravindra Jadeja. I think shot selection was a big problem. I think all in all, India made so many errors the whole day that it's not surprising that Australia are 47 runs ahead with 6 wickets in hand. Obviously, the mistakes that they made with the bat that we just spoke about, the kind of bowling, if you like, because I understand when you get only 109 to defend and then you're desperate for wickets and therefore you make mistakes, but how do you justify the fact that for the third time in 3 test matches, your left-arm spinner has got a crucial wicket and it's off a no ball? How do you justify the fact that you lose your reviews so quickly because you are reviewing in hope rather than in conviction, and hope doesn't work against technology? How do you justify the fact that you did not take an LBW when it was clearly out? Okay, all this is with the benefit of hindsight, but when people have played so many test matches, we expect them to make better informed decisions, which is what we're talking about.
Right. And in contrast, the way Australian batsmen played today, especially Usman Khawaja, he scored a half century. How was his play different from when compared to Indian batters, Kaushik?
A couple of things. First up, I think a word of praise for the Australian bowlers. I thought they were very good. If you look at it, and I don't mean it with any disrespect, but if you look at the Indian attack, and let's take the two best bowlers, the best spinners, Ashwin and Jadeja, who are immensely skilled. And then you look at Australian attack, and obviously Nathan Lyon is in a league of his own, but then you have Matthew Kuhnemann, who's playing only his second test match, Todd Murphy, who's only playing his third test match. And they bring their own skill sets, but they don't have the experience, they don't have the guile of an Ashwin or a Jadeja. And therefore, the fact that they didn't try to do anything special, they just let the pitch do, because the ball was turning off the middle of the pitch. You could see the top surface being disturbed.
Right.
So there was so much of help, and they didn't try to be over smart, or they didn't try to do too many things. They just came and landed the ball in that spot and allowed the pitch to do the rest. In contrast to that, because they had only 109 runs, India were probably a little more desperate. They wanted the clutch of early wickets, so that the only way you would get back into the contest if you get Australia out for 130, 135, so that it becomes a second innings game like it was in Delhi. And when the early wickets did not come, then India started to try harder, and therefore, when you try harder, then you go away from your basics and your disciplines. So I think that was a big factor in how the day's play panned out. Obviously, you spoke about Khawaja. Khawaja made nearly 450 runs when Australia toured Pakistan last year. He had 2 big hundreds, he had 2 half centuries. He's very, very good at playing spin, and today he showed how to play late, how to play under your eye, how to allow the ball to do its thing. He was decisive in his footwork. And one of the main features of today's batting was that there weren't too many sweep shots from Australia. So they have obviously learned their lessons. They've used this 1 week between the 2 test matches very judiciously. And it helps when a batsman of Labuschagn's class gets a second chance. And then Steve Smith, we all know what he's capable of, what he's done in India in more difficult conditions in the past. all in all, it was an excellent batting performance. Khawaja was the rock around which they built their innings, and to see Australia fight back after the disappointments of the last two Test matches, I think they will go bed with a big smile on the face today.
And how significant is this lead, 47 runs, Kaushik, in the context of the match? And this match may not go the full distance as it was the previous two games. Maybe we can have an end tomorrow or day after as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not going the distance. We spoke about the previous game also not going the distance. No way this match is going the distance. And some of it has to do with the pitch. Some of it has to do with the skill sets of modern day batsmen when confronted with the turning ball. There was a time when India took great pride in having the best players of the turning ball in the world, and I don't think we can say that any longer with any authority. So this lead, to come back to your question, is a handy lead. It's already 47 runs to the good, 6 wickets in hand. Hanscom, we know, is an accomplished player of spin. Cameron Green is a fantastic player. I know he's playing his first Test match in India, but he has a long reach. He has long levers, and he's a powerful batsman, so expect some damage from him. Alex Carey to come, Mitchell Stark, a left-hander who hits the ball a long way. So there is a reasonable amount of batting still to come, and therefore 47 runs is already a handy lead, and I expect Australia to stretch it to maybe 3 figures unless something dramatic happens in the morning session. We must also remember that the ball is 54 overs old. Australia will have the opportunity to use a roller in the morning, which will settle the pitch down a little bit. So yeah, it all stacks up to advantage Australia. It's up to India and to start with, to Ashwin and Jadeja about how they react and how much they can restrict the lead to, and then of course it's over to the batting lineup. The top order owes the team a lot of runs, except for Rohit Sharma. The top order is not really fired in this series, so I think the top order owes the team a lot of runs.
One last question, Kaushik. You have mentioned that it's a handy lead, 47 runs. What should be India's approach? Like, can they bounce back tomorrow? It's a new, fresh day. Things can change. So, what can we expect from Indian bowlers and the batters as well?
Obviously, I mean, they have the class and the quality to bounce back. You're talking about Ashwin and Jadeja, who between them have got 700 plus Test wickets. So that's no mean achievement. They have done it in the past. They can do it again. The problem is how much do you attack? Because already, like we said, the lead is 47, which is a reasonably good lead under the circumstances, and with 6 wickets in hand. So you have to draw this balance between taking wickets and conceding runs. So therefore, you cannot have 5, 6 guys in catching positions. You have what they call the in-out field. So you're trying to protect the boundaries. You're trying to have close-in catches, which means there are lots of gaps. So therefore, you have to entice batsmen into making mistakes. And the important thing is to remain patient. The important thing, probably as skilled and as experienced as they are, probably for Ashwin and Jadeja to take a leap out of the Australian spinners. They can try to be patient and just do the basics right. Keep it tight, bowl the boring maiden overs, and allow the batsman to make mistakes. And if you can do that, and if you can succeed, and if you can keep the lead down to, okay, let's say manageable proportions, 75, 80, which looks far-fetched now considering they're already 47 to the good. But if you can restrict the lead, then again, you have to remember that, yes, Australia are batting fourth, but then you need about 150 run cushion if you want to defend in the final inning. So yeah, it's a tall order. Like I said, the top order was a lot of runs. So yeah, if India can manage to set Australia a target of 150, 175, I know we are talking too far ahead, right, considering where we are in the game as of now. But if it's 150, 175 in the fourth innings, we could have an interesting game. Otherwise, like you said, who knows? We might even have a 2-day finish.
Right. Thanks a lot, Kaushik. We'll rejoin tomorrow.